good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This practice is going to be a nice little gentle practice for any of those times of day. Whether you're just waking up and you're a little stiff and you need to move a little bit, or it's midday and your body just hurts, your stress is kind of elevated, or at the end of the day, before you go to bed, or just at the end of that work day, or again, you just need to get out of your chair and lie down on the floor. That's what we're going to do today. So take a nice deep breath. Feel your breath flowing in and out. And take a moment to notice how you are. And just notice if some word arises in there. And just take note of that. Alright, so before we lie down on our backs, you're going to want some kind of prop for your head. Which actually you could use your hands. So if you don't want to get up, you don't have anything nearby, you can just use your hands for this too. So we're just going to roll out onto our backs if you're not already. Come on down. And just take a breath. Nice full breath. Let your head just lean a little bit from side to side. Is that you're kind of leaning on the back of your head, like the corners of the back of your head, and you're just rolling across the back of the head. All right, so if you're just going to use your hands, you're going to interlace your fingers together. Bring them behind your head. Just letting your elbows point out to the sides. This one often just feels really great for me. Getting into the shoulder area. A little gentle release for your neck. If you have something else, I'm going to use a yoga block, but you can also use any kind of a pillow will do. Want to elevate your head just a little bit more. A folded towel would work. And then your arms are just reaching past your head. Nice full breath. The body sink down into the floor. Feel the movement of the rib cage as you breathe. And then we're going to let our arms come down along our sides. I'm going to take that block out. So if you have something under your head, let it come on out. Bring your arms in along your sides. We're going to try to pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Let your head roll to one side. Let your shoulders relax down. Take a breath. And then slowly bring the head back to center. Pause there. And then let your head roll to the other side. Nice full breath. And then slowly bring the head back to center. And then just let it rock a little bit again across the back of the head. Big breath. All right, and now we're going to pick the head up. Bring your hands behind your head. Fingers are interlaced together. Let the weight of your head rest in your hands. And just start to lift the head up, bringing the chin towards your chest. As though you're trying to just gently elongate the neck. and tip it forward very carefully. Pay attention to what you're feeling here. And then slowly bring the head back down. Release the hands out. Bring your arms out to shoulder height. Let yourself just sink down into the floor here. And then we're going to reach the arms across the body. So let's start with right arm. We're going to bring the right arm. You can either just kind of reach this arm across, or you can bring your right hand to your left shoulder. And there's a couple of different ways you can push on the arm. You can either keep your elbow bent and bring this left hand onto the elbow and just a little pressure downward. So especially if you have trouble with this right shoulder, that may be your better spot. It's just the elbow bent, like the elbow is pointing to your navel, and you're just pushing that down. Or if you can pull a little farther, you can extend that right hand out to the left side and then use your left hand to kind of pull this arm gently across the body, pushing the upper arm towards the chest. And then do your best to just breathe into that. Try to let all the muscles in that whole shoulder, the shoulder blade, let them soften. Relax your abdomen. And then as we open the arms out, we're going to take the arms back out to either side. We're going to push the palms away and point the fingertips up. So just a little reach out to the side. The little flexing of the wrists, fingers up. You're going to stretch your wrists a little bit there. And then let your palms turn up towards the ceiling. Bring this left hand over. Each shoulder can be different. So again, if this shoulder is a little problematic, bring your left hand to your right shoulder, elbows pointing towards your navel. Right hand's just going to press that arm gently down towards the body. If you're extending out a little bit more, you're gently using this right hand to pull the left arm over to your left side. So the upper arm is pushing down towards your chest. Take a breath. Again, work on letting that whole left shoulder relax. And then what else can you soften? Toes, jaw, eyes. All right, and then we're going to open arms out wide again. Very slowly. Just extend arms out to either side. Fingertips point up. You're just going to press the hands away from each other. Take a breath. And then let the arms reach out past your head again. And then we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling and push those shoulder blades down into the floor. We're kind of drawing the shoulder blades together and pushing the shoulder blades down into the floor. A little squeeze there, squeezing those shoulder muscles. And then we're pulling the knees in. Reach for those knees, squeeze them in towards your chest. Let your feet rotate around. Then we're going to see if we can move the knees a little bit. There may be room for your knees to move, and there may not be room for your knees to move. If they'll move out a little bit, you're just holding fingers on top of the kneecaps, and you're just going to pull the knees in and out. So try to let your shoulders stretch here. You're going to pull your hands as far away from you as you can, letting your shoulders stretch. And then you're pulling those knees back in, abdomen in. Just nice and easy. And then if you can move your knees in circles, you're pulling the knees in towards you. So knees are relatively close together here. And then you're going to let the knees move out away from each other. And then you're going to see if you can let the knees, while they're wide, move away from you. And then draw them back towards each other and towards your chest. Knees moving out to the sides. So the knees moving away from you. Knees draw together. And then we're going to pull them in towards the chest. And then we're going to see if we can reverse that circle. So with the knees close together, let them move out away from you. And then drop the knees away from each other. And then pull the knees up while they're still wide. Pull them up towards the chest. Give a little squeeze in there. And then knees come together. Knees move away from the body. Knees move away from each other. I'm going to draw those knees in like you're drawing them in towards your armpits. Just give that little squeeze in there. Hopefully that feels good on your hips. And then knees together. Pause. Breath. Into a twist. Arms out at shoulder height. Take your knees over to the right side. Let them drop down onto the floor. You can bring your right hand, if you like, on top of the legs. And just give it a little push down or kind of hold on to the legs. Let your whole back relax. I don't know if you can hear that. I just have like this spontaneous little whimper, which happens sometimes. So if you find yourself doing that too, like just as we're breathing, there'll just be this little, you might find that happens to you too. This is just this little releasing out that happens. It's like a little squeak. Some people cry sometimes. That has happened to me too. So again, if you're having like these deeper issues, all right, we're going to bring the knees back to center. If you're having like deep stress, you may find that tears start to release out during the practice. So again, that's really normal. Arms out at shoulder height. Let the knees drop over to the left side. And then if you like, you can bring your left hand on top of the leg. So while most of us don't really enjoy crying, it is a great release of tension. Terrible, right? We don't like to cry in public, but it's terrible to cry alone. It's something we should probably all get more comfortable with. Just letting our tears flow out, releasing our emotions. Because all of that gets locked up into the physical body when we repress it. And I think that's why those tears can flow in yoga, is that we're beginning to release tension out of the body, and that's part of what can happen. All right, come on back to center. Bring your knees in. And then we're going to try to reach for the feet. This is your happy place right here. Keep hanging on to your knees. If you're going to go for the feet, this is another place where something under your head can be helpful. If your hips are a little tight or shoulders, just having a little something under your head can make it easier to bring those feet up, because then it's lifting your shoulders up. So it's not quite as a high reach for your feet, or it's kind of like you're bringing your shoulders up a little bit so your hands can come up to your feet a little bit more. So sometimes that's shoulders that are tight, and sometimes it's hips or back, or it can be all of those things. So if you let your shoulders relax here. And then let your feet come down. Let's do legs out straight. Just stretch those legs out. If you like, arms can reach past your head. If not, you can just let arms stay along your sides. Try to pull your ribs up towards the ceiling. And then soften back down. Bring your feet onto the floor. Let's do bridge pose. If you have something under your head, just bring that back out. push your low back down, bring your hips up into the air, exploring how that feels today. If you're coming up a little bit higher, hands can come underneath you, fingers interlaced together. Then you're trying to get those shoulder blades to move towards each other. You can roll to one shoulder. So if you're rolling to your right, you're pulling your left shoulder blade under, roll to your left, tuck your right shoulder blade under, and then back to center. Get level on your feet. And then slowly come on down. Yoga sit-ups. Bring hands back behind your head. Interlace fingers together. We want the feet on the floor. Press that low back down. So I'm just moving around here, getting myself situated. We want the abdomen in and the low back down. One of my students was hurting herself doing yoga sit-ups because she was doing it on her own, forgetting to pull that abdomen in and push her low back down. So if you're finding you're having some challenges here, just keep that low back pressed down. All right, on the exhale, we're curling up, bringing those shoulders up as far as they feel right. So you may not be able to lift them up so high. Again, maybe there's some tightness in there. It's not going to let you lift up that much. That's fine. Just find your spot. When you're ready to come down, you're going to inhale down, exhale up. You can pause and take a breath and eat at each point. You can pause when you come down. You can exhale up. And then you can do an inhale and an exhale there. And then inhale down. And then if you like, take a full breath here. Keeping that abdomen in and your low back down. Exhaling as you curl up. Inhaling as you come down. And now we're just going to soften. Big breath. All right, we're going to work a little more on hips and legs. We're going to come up into a seated position. Come on up. Let's do a little twist here. We're just going to twist to the right. Take a breath. Twist to the left. Left hand behind you. Nice breath. Back to center. Butterfly pose, soles of your feet together. So we've got this space in the center here. We're rounding. Hands can be on your legs, they can be on your feet. They can be inside the legs, they can be in front of your feet. And then inhale on up. Good. Let's take the feet straight out in front of us. If these legs are tight, you're already feeling a stretch here. And just pull your toes in towards you, bring your hands behind you. If you feel like you can fold forward, you might be able to reach your toes and stay up higher. As you move into this forward fold, you can try to keep your back flat. So like you're bringing your abdomen down towards your thighs, and then like your chest is coming down, and then your head. If those legs are really tight and you're rounding, that's fine as long as you're not feeling any pain. If you're having disc problems, sometimes this will aggravate when you're rounding. So for some people, it's much better to keep that back flat, or like you're trying to pull your chest towards your toes. Take another breath. And then come on up. We're going to take the feet out wide. So this time we're going to get a little more of the inner leg. Lift up. Same thing. Hands can be behind you. Or you can lean forward. And you're just going to find your spot. Are you using hands? Are you going to have something propped underneath your lower arms? Are you coming down lower today? And then we're going to release. So if you're forward, use your hands. Come on back up. We're going to come out into child's pose. Coming onto hands and knees. Push back into your child's pose. Head down. Knees can be wide or close together. Come up for a cat and a dog, up onto hands and knees. Head and tailbone down, belly in, spine up. Inhale into dog, let your spine drop down towards the floor. Head and chest lift up as long as that feels okay. If that's not feeling good, let your head stay down. Just let your spine drop down between your shoulders. And then come back to a bit of a rounded back. We're going to ease our way out onto the floor. Okay, if you want to do this, a little arm strengthening, a little bit of a vinyasa. Come on down, straighten out the legs. Pull feet out behind you. What am I going to knock over back there? Okay. And then you're going to push into your hands. Pull chest forward, shoulder blades back. Big breath. If you can twist here. So again, if your shoulders will move, you're going to pull your right shoulder back, your left shoulder forward, and then left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. A little bit of movement in there. And then come on down. We're going to take it into half frog. Bring your right knee up to about hip height. You can just slide the knee up. I will often take my right foot and kind of walk my leg out. And then try to use the foot to pull that leg out from the hip a bit. And then bend the knee. You can stay on your lower arms. Just depending on the day, I might stay there. Or lower down. Bring your head down onto one or both arms. Breathe. Work on softening into the floor. So your knee is roughly in line with your hips, as though the knee is coming straight out from the hip to that right side. And then we're going to change sides. So again, you can kind of use your foot. You can extend your right foot out, push onto your toes. You can pull this hip back a little bit, and then maybe your right hand, and then bring this leg back. Particularly if you have back problems, I find just sliding that leg back can sometimes be a little wrenching on the back. All right, we're coming into the other side. So again, you can just kind of slide this knee up, or you can walk your foot out, extend your leg out from the hip, bend the knee, and then you're deciding, are you going to stay on your lower arms for a little bit, or are you going to bring your head down? Nice full breath. Sink down into the floor. And ease your way out of this side. So again, you can slide that leg down or use your toes. Roll your body, take your left hand, push down, bring that leg back. Breath. Into a cobra pose, hands flat on the floor, below your shoulders. Start to pull your shoulders back. And then push into your hands. You want your elbows bent, your shoulders pulling down and in towards the spine. If it feels good to straighten out your arms, be really mindful of how your low back is. You can get a little stretch there that's nice in the arms and in the shoulders. But most of the time you want to have your elbows bent, pulling down. So you're really working that upper back. You're making those muscles engage and you're counteracting more that natural rounding forward that we do. All right, come on back into a child's pose. Head down. And then I'm going to roll onto my back. If you want to do pigeon here, bring your right knee forward and out to the right side. Right foot in front of your left leg moves back. If you're going to do a reclining pigeon, come on to your back. Beginning with your feet on the floor. Rest your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And then if you want to hold that left leg, this is another one, just like we did with Happy Baby. Having a little something under your head will help your shoulders come up a little higher so you can reach a little farther with the hands. It can help your shoulders to let go a little more here. If you're holding the thigh, you're going to hold the back of the left thigh with both hands, just squeezing in gently. If this is feeling like it's too much effort in this moment, too much stress maybe on your hands or your shoulders, let this left foot be on the floor and then drop right foot. Where are we going? Oops, I mixed up. Okay, left leg. Right foot's on top of your left thigh. We're going to let the legs drop over to the left side. If this foot is sliding, let's bring your left hand and kind of rest it on there. Keep breathing. So if you're in pigeon, same thing. You want to breathe, soften the abdomen, keep letting go into the floor, letting the whole body unwind. Pigeon, you could be on your hands, you could be on your lower arms, you could be flatter down with your head on your arms. You hear screaming in the background. It's the kids at the playground across the street. They've been extra wild out there this spring, and they're so happy to have a little more freedom. I think that's why we have to cry when we do yoga. It's because we don't run around and scream on the playground every day. Okay, we're going to release this side. If you're in pigeon, either stretch out that right leg from hands and knees or from down dog. If you're on your back, just release that right foot and stretch your right leg. Let's do both legs up if you're on your back. If you can reach your feet, you can grab hold of your feet. Otherwise, you're just holding onto the legs somewhere. Take a breath. And then we're moving into the opposite side. If it's pigeon, left knees forward, left foot in front of your right thigh. We're doing reclining pigeon. Left ankle on top of right thigh. And then you're either holding the back of that right leg with both hands, or you're going to have your right foot on the floor and then let the legs just drop over to the right side. Again, you can hold the foot with your right hand if that left foot is sliding on the floor. Soften down. Slowly release this side. Again, if you're in pigeon, stretch from hands and knees, or down dog if you're on your back. And bring both legs up into the air, holding feet or the back of the legs. If you like, take your feet out wide here. And then maybe into a happy baby. If you were in pigeon, come on to your back. And then you can hug your knees in if you're just shifting onto your back. And you can do a happy baby if you like. Happy baby sometimes is really nice with feet together. Full breath. And then Shavasana. Any little other adjustments that you need. If your neck is still a little tight, let it turn a little from side to side. If you have something you want to prop your legs up on for Shavasana, I'm going to grab the timer. Get comfy. So we're just going to do a 5-minute Shavasana. So if you're going back to work or something, that way you can have a little reference point. It's the end of the day. Maybe you're just going to go curl up in bed or rest for a little bit, or just kind of let yourself, maybe just stop the video and rest here for as long as you need. So just find your spot. Let go. Feel your breath. Relax your feet, your hands, the legs and arms. The abdomen, the back. Relax the whole torso. Face, the head. Feel your breath. Be aware of your breath. Notice how you are. So again, depending on where you are in your day, you may want to move a little bit and wake up. Right? You could bring your feet up, arms up. If you're just chilling out for the rest of the day, maybe you're just going to bend your knees and roll to one side. You can always stay here a little longer, or if you have nothing you need to move on to. If you're ready to come on up into a seated position. And if you're sitting with crossed legs, which you may not be, and this may not be a comfortable place for you, that's fine. But if you are sitting with your legs crossed, bring that bottom leg on top. See how that goes today. Hands at the heart, nice big breath. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. Namaste.